Danse. Ti-ta-di-du-dum, tu-tu-di-dum, tu-di-dum. Tu-tu-di-tu-dum, tu-du-di-dum, tu-ta-ti-ta-tam, ti-du-du.
In 2001, Time magazine featured French osteopath Jean-Pierre Barral and visceral manipulation in an article entitled The Innovators of the Next Wave of Integrative Medicine. Through interfacing with the body's deepest internal structures and systems, he has revolutionized manual medicine for allopathic and alternative therapists around the world. Based in Grenoble, France, Jean-Pierre is the author of a dozen books, including the groundbreaking Visceral Manipulation. His body-based approaches to structure, function, and the whole person are a true blending of art and science. We join him now in the summer of 2009 in San Diego at the Global Joint Treatment class.
Okay, bonjour, I am Jean-Pierre Barral. So we will speak about, of course, you know me about visceral manipulation, but this course is about the joint manipulation. We see something very precise and specific, and of course, it's very based on anatomy. Thank you for coming. So I repeat, we will see something on the knee, and of course, we have selected what is very important. And as you know, the medial meniscus is 20 times more affected than the lateral one. And very often there is what we call menisc arthrosis. Okay, the menisc is used, menisc arthrosis. And it becomes a little thin, a little fragile, and it has a tendency not to go back when you have an extension. A lot of sportifs have some knee problem. As I said yesterday, the problem of the knee is has very solid bones, but is very fragile. Every sportif that you can know, professional, have knee problem. Okay, it's why it's important to know how to release the knee. If there is a keyword, proprioceptive system. It must be defined by a very acute proprioceptive system. There are many things which can affect the meniscus, which can affect the knee. A little tension we'll see on some active ligaments like semimembranous, semitendinous, and so on, can disbalance this very fragile joint. We will see some techniques in order to release the meniscus step by step without hurting the patient, because we must avoid the strong techniques. So the medial one are more problem. The anterior part of the medial one are more problem. So we will focus on this part. And if you see that it's an anterior view, of course, we'll try to see this part here. Okay, that is the most important part of the meniscus. So very often what happens, the anterior horn of the meniscus stay a little too much anterior, okay, and the patient cannot have the full extension. Very often he has a lack of full extension. When you have somebody coming in your office like it, okay, cannot do some extension with the knee, very often it's one of the techniques to do. It's not the only one we see. It's one of the techniques to do. D'accord? Alors, there is a lot of little movement of rotation of the knee. The knee, of course, is made for flexion, extension, but you have very some subtlety, 5 degrees of rotation. And as I say, so when your knee, remember, when your leg is like it, your meniscus is in danger. Okay? When here, it's not in danger. D'accord? Alors, I just want to explain again this problem of pressure. When you have a negative pressure, the cartilage glides very well because it's not stuck. Okay, the two cartilage are gliding very well. And there is a liquid film between the two joints. There is a little liquid, okay, synovial liquid, which permit to glide. When you have a compression of the joint for any kind of reason, you have no more this liquid film, okay, and the cartilage will be less fed and so on because the small arteries are compressed. D'accord? And it's why when we try to do something, we try to restore a little this negative pressure. So you have a joint here. Normally the joint glides. If you have too much pressure, of course you have no more the same pressure inside the joint. Increase the pressure and you have no more negative pressure, so the joint needs to have this negative pressure to be in a good shape. So you come, you put your voilà, here. I take the tibia, I take the tibia here, okay? I put my 2 fingers here, and I just try to see a little bit if there is some extension or not, okay? I just do this movement. And after you do a little rotation with the tibia, and you see if you feel the meniscus, it's a little member like a cartilage just above the plateau, and you try to see if here it's come back, here it's come back, okay? Extension, both must come back. If you have the feeling that there is something a little hard which stay underneath your fingers, it means there is a problem, d'accord? So, you stimulate a little bit the proprioceptive system, you do a little extension, and you come back. And with your fingers, you push a little bit like it, you push, you follow. What is important, you have 5 degrees of rotation here, and you follow these degrees, okay, and you do the movement, okay. You open a little bit, you follow. You are doing the job. I myself, I just follow the meniscus and so on, okay? And you come back and so on, okay? That is the first thing. And at the end, alors suppose that it's not, you have somebody, you release and you try to, there's still something, okay? You ask the patient to put the foot at this level, okay, what I said to you yesterday. You catch the tibia here. You catch the femur at this level, move a little, make glide your foot, slowly, slowly, slowly. And you follow just the rotation with your hand, you come back, you follow the rotation, and you come back. And little by little, the patient will do himself the movement, okay? And the point for us is to have the full extension. I'm speaking about somebody coming with in your office with a big pain, a big tension, which cannot have some extension on the foot. So, it's very important that kind of little rotation. You do it also, you do it, move. You move yourself. When it's painful, you come back. When it's painful, you come back, and so on. We are more extension now, okay? Okay, good. And we are more extension. And your colleague will be the following. Alors, remember, you always, the problem of the meniscus, they have a lot of proprioceptive fibers, okay? There are some neurons inside the meniscus. It's not a stupid cartilage. And this cartilage gives some information, of course, to balance a little the tension of the muscle. Okay, so it's why you must always, even when somebody has nothing, be careful on the rotation. She has not external rotation and so on. D'accord? Alors, last thing, you never have the weight of the patient on your shoulder. The weight is on this leg at the beginning. Be careful because it's after you have a thoracic indent syndrome. Okay, that is a collateral tibial ligament. And there is something absolutely to check. You have some femoral tibial ligament, okay, coming from the femur to the tibia. We have some femoral meniscus ligament and tibio meniscus ligament. And we'll try to make the difference between both. Of course, you cannot do something without being precise. And this ligament is flat. It's not the same thing as the lateral one, okay? And that is very important because remember that's a medial meniscus. It changes fibers with the collateral ligament. If you do something on the meniscus and you forget this ligament, it will come back at once. It's why it's so important to be so precise. Also, there is another one going from the meniscus to the patella, meniscopatellar ligament, okay, at this level. A knee is always more complicated than we believe, okay? And of course, at the beginning of my career, I did not understand what was a knee, and thanks to my knee, because I was hurted when I was young, playing football, American football, okay? And I'm not the type of guy to play that kind of stuff. So that is very important to check the attachment of the meniscus. So we will do it right after the break. It's something very subtle, and when you release this part, you release the entire part, you're more sure that the meniscus will stay in the same place. D'accord? Because what you have done at the beginning, meniscus is a little anterior. You push it a little back, you try to balance from lateral to medial. But after we have this stuff, and each time you have a tension of the knee as the meniscus is affected, each time. Quadricipital tendon, you come a little underneath, you move at this level. I will do the drawing after. And now you are against the bone, and you try to make move from lateral to medial, okay? This muscle as a whole, that is the capsule, like it. This muscle as a whole to maintain the capsule in tension. When you flex, when you have some extension and so on. So I repeat, you have the patella, you have the quadricipital tendon, okay? With your finger, there is another muscle we call intermediate, vastus intermedialis, okay? You move, you go against the bone, okay? And you make move like it. You make move like it, okay? You are deep, you are make move against the bone. And there is what you call quadricipital bursa at this level. And when there is some tension on the knee, this bursa becomes thick. On the synovial, you have a big risk to have synovitis. Capsule tensors. They play like tensors of the capsule. A capsule is a fold which is very supple. And this capsule has some little folds. And a good capsule, try to expand the maximum, not to be too squeezed and so on. And when we play on this muscle, we play on the capsule and we make expand a little the capsule in order to avoid that kind of what we call plicata of the capsule. And when you have a plicata, of course, a plicata is like it, okay? That is a capsule. When you have a plicata, the capsule is like it. And of course, inhibit all the mechanoreceptors that you have in this part. Huh? Like a good capsule must be like it. Bad capsule is totally like it. So good. It's why after surgery, you have no choice. You must do it after surgery because the surgeons, they don't take care about it. Huh? They open, and you know, sometimes the worst is when they do with fibroscopy. It's worse because they move a lot and they destroy a lot of things. So it's why after surgery, you must try to give some peace to this muscle, to this ligament. D'accord? That is the semimembranous. The semimembranous come here, okay, here, and give some fibers, exchanging some fibers, going laterally with fabella, or the concentration of fibers also, and going some fibers going to the popliteus muscle, okay? So what we will do, if we'll do on the back, but you must, you have the biceps here, biceps, adductor manus, semitendinous, semimembranous, okay? And you try to feel the fibers. Semimembranous is the brain of the posterior part of the knee, the semimembranous. Because they have a lot of expansion going to the capsule, okay? This muscle is very smart. Huh? We must not miss this muscle. It's smarter than the semitendinous, okay? Put your two fingers here. You have two tendons, one and two. Mm-hmm. D'accord? Okay, so you follow the tendon. If the tendon stops here, it's the semitendinous. If you stop inside the knee, it's the semimembranous.
So this one out here is tendinous. This one here is membranous.
Semimembranous. Huh?
And it feels in this position like it's not deep.
Here it's not deep, but after it goes deeper, deeper, and deeper. Okay. So when we do some joint manipulation, it's in order to get some negative pressure, to increase the negative pressure, or to restore the negative pressure in the joints. It's very important to make glide the joint, and also for the arterial system, vascular system, nervous system, and so on. So the key point for us is to free the joints to restore this negative pressure. Les petites demoiselles dansent. Titadidoudou, toutoudidou, toudidoudou, toutoudidou, toutoudidou, nanana. Toutatitata, tidoudou, toutitidoudou, toutoutoudou, toutitidoudou, toutatidoudou, toudoudou. Les petites demoiselles dansent. Titata-tiditata, touditoudidam, toudidadam, toutouditoudou, toudoudidam. Ta-ta-ti-ta-ta.